So if these are the various departments, then what kind of skill sets or maybe qualifications are the employees bringing on table? Because a lot of our student friends know now they are going to go into the world either
Right.
post and study something. So what is that they should do? Looking at maybe create one is a creative part, then there is probably a strategy part, which are normally management guys, who understand little numbers, data. UI UX itself is a field, but what are the kind of people who what kind of people come into the creative field?
So I would say, see, there is up to a certain limit that you can do courses to get into this stuff. While there are specializations available, and especially given that this audience you said is a lot of BMM students, what BMM genuinely helps with, and like I had told you, I have taught BMM for a couple of years in my ex-college. What BMM generally prepares you for is for the general management of stuff. It gives you a glimpse into a little bit of all the aspects of the business. What you need to then do is that you need to figure out what it is that where does your interest lie more in. If it is general management, you can always choose general management and take a client servicing stroke portfolio management or whatever it's called in different companies. You can choose to play a role there. If you feel that, hey, no, you know what, I've got a strategic bent of mind, where I think also this word strategic is a slightly tricky word, Samir. It's because it's tricky to understand. What strategic means is that giving direction to the creative folks. That's what it very simply means. It very simply means that, hey, I can probably say that these are the 3 roads available for the brand, and let's see which one leads to a better creative output. And then there is, of course, the creative department where you either in the creative department there is specialization. Design is a specialization. You should have studied design in the JJ schools or the Rachnas of the world. Ideally you should have studied design. There are enough people who have made a career there without studying, but I would say that they are a minority. A large part of them are actually well trained in the subject of design itself, because it's an aesthetic course and there are basics of design which you've got to learn. Then there is the copywriting skill, which is a lot to do with language. So and language, it doesn't necessarily mean only English. Language skill can even be that you could be a specialist in Hindi. You could have language skills in Hindi, but overall a little flair for the language, flair for words is something that helps in the copywriting sphere of things. Then there is the technical aspect of things, which is the UI UXs of the world. I don't think that this course currently covers it for the students, but there are courses available online.
Yes, like you would. Human Factor International is one great UI UX institute for students.
Yeah, so there are enough courses. UI UX is nothing but how to manage the user experience and user journey in the online world. That's all it is, because all of us, we don't realize it. But when we are going through a website, that is an experience that has been created for us. And the more intuitive that experience is, the more easy that navigation is, the more time we will spend there. Okay. And the more difficult it is, the easier we will drop out. So it is just a question of knowing a little bit of design. There is a little bit of science to it. So that is another technical aspect of it. You can choose any of this. And I think BMM students are well poised to choose any of these things, right? Because they get a glimpse of a lot of this. They can actually get into the work sphere, work with people and say that, you know what, let me try my hand at a few things when I come into a firm, and then say that, listen, you know what, after having spent time trying three of these things, I think instinctively I'm feeling my interest lies here. Let me double down on that. Let me detail that out a little bit for myself and see how I do. I think the other thing, Samir, is that, and I would genuinely recommend at least students who are listening to this, is that it's also, you need to be patient. It's not like you will start working and on third day, you will, it's taken me 20 years to get where I have, and I still don't think I know it as well as I should. I still feel I'm learning, and it's very, very important to have the patience to give it the time, because not every time will be a success, because it's not an easy journey in the creative department, because what happens is that more often than not, your it's a lot of this work involves a lot of anxiousness, because you don't know where the idea is going to come from. You don't know when it comes, whether it's going to click or no. It's like a movie maker, right, who sits on a Friday not knowing whether after 2 years of effort people are going to like it, or on Sunday it's going to get trashed and your future is over. So every time you put something out, it's a huge, like, you have to, first of all, it takes about 6 months to arrive at that. Then it goes out into the world. Then there are more often than not, like today you are talking, in my 20-year career, you're talking about, let's say, about 15 odd brands which have been very, very successful. But those are the successful brands. There are another 15 or 20 which have not been as successful as this. And those are my failures, right? And you learn from those failures, you try and implement, and you try and pull yourself up. So I would say patience is another very key factor in this business.